Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Dora and I am Creative Projects and Plans. I have to remember not to say the Fluid Crafter anymore because I did change my name. And so I wanted to do this little video really quick to let you guys know. A while back I did a haul on these journals, right? And some, just some journaling that I was doing with some photos that I wanted to keep records of and things. And so these here are by Carpe Diem, which is the Simple Stories. And the only thing I don't like about some of these journals is that they're stapled, right? And because they're stapled, they tend to not lay flat when you turn the pages, right? So they always have this buckle. Sometimes it's annoying, especially if you are someone who enjoys, creative journaling and such. And I'm going to be looking back up at the camera to make sure I stay in frame. Because of that, I didn't want to use it as a writing journal. I wanted to use these as, creative art or memory keeping or something along those lines. Testing out stamps, testing out color of paints and inks and stuff, which is what I tend to do. And then I cover it up with creative journaling. And so that's what I'm going to do. So this here is really light paperweight. It's not real heavy paper. It is pretty light. Okay. And so I picked up this pickling wash by Folk Art, right? And it's a Gypsy Rose. It's transparent veil of color. And I got it Tuesday morning for $3. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to just try it out and see what happens, right? Because, I mean, who doesn't love inks and washes? And I do actually have other washes from, I believe it's Tattered Angels. I'm grabbing a paintbrush really quick. I did forget to do that. And I'm just going to use an old paintbrush because we are just testing out some things. And so, yeah, I'm going to do some washes on this paper to see these colors. And I'll show you the other ones that I got. I am going to pick up more, actually. And let me grab my water to put my brush in when I'm finished. Okay, so I'm going to try my best not to knock the table or anything. I do have a new setup, so, and then because I don't want anything to get on the front yet, I am going to do this just to make sure nothing splatters over there. And like I said, I'm going to do some small things, chit chat with you guys, and really just get back on YouTube and just start, doing videos again and stuff. So yes, these are the Tattered Angels. These are the color tinted. Now these here have like glittery mists and stuff like that, because if you guys know Tattered Angels, they are amazing. They love to put the glittery stuff in theirs, and I love it so much. This is the white, and then I also have the turquoise. I don't know if it's called turquoise or not, but Caribbean Mist is what it's called. Caribbean. So yeah, turquoise. So I'm just going to give these a good shake. Okay. So since this one here, these are all washes, I'm going to use the darkest one first. Yes, it's going to go through to the back page, and that is absolutely okay. That's why I have the page underneath of it. And so the idea with washes is it doesn't cover up what you have there. It just gives a color wash over top of it, which is actually perfect. So you can see how it just washes, right? You can still see the lines. You can still see the page behind it, right? And so that is all that a color wash is. It's not meant to color a page. It's meant to just wash it and give details or, stroke marks, things like that. It's Really, really cool to use. And I like to do thin layers because then you can see the stroke marks. I just dipped my brush right in there. If you hear my boys talking in the background, I apologize. I hear him up there laughing right now. You guys might hear that. I apologize. So now that is the, this one here is copper. So that's the copper wash, but it doesn't look copper, right? Okay, so now I'm going to dry this off and then I'll speed it up a little bit. I'm going to rinse out my brush and then I'll be right back, okay? That's just water. All right. Okay, so now that's dry, and you might be able to see some of the glitter in there. I'm not sure if you can, but it's really super cool. Okay, so the next one we're going to do is the next darkest one, which is the blue. The blue is actually a little bit darker than the brown, but that's okay. This one here, we're just going to splash it on there so you can see it a little bit like this, and then I'm just going to move it around, okay? So we're not going to do full-blown out page. We're just going to drag this wherever it kind of goes and then be done with it. So you can see the two tinted, right? But you can also see this coming through the background in some spots. So as a wash, it's perfect. Okay, now I'm gonna dry this, be right back. Now anytime that you're using washes, watercolors, anything like that, you want to dry in between each one of them so that you can see the glitter. Can you see the glitter now? I hope you can. It's so pretty. Because you want to be able to get the strokes. You want to be able to get those things. You want to be able to see through the depth of it, right? All right, so now, wait, let me shake this up. All right, now we're going to test this. This is the rose. This is the one I just got, so I wanted to lay something down to test it. I'm bringing you guys along with me because, you know, so you guys can see it too. I love testing out things with you guys and letting you guys see my results. And then when you guys test it out, if you want to do the same thing, then you can also post up your results as well. Okay, so now this one here, what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to tap it off where it's just lightly. Okay, and I am just going to pull it so that way you can still see that blue underneath. Okay. Not a lot, just enough to where it will coat, but not all the way over like that. And you can still see that blue and brown through that background, which is super, super cool. I like that. I like the fact that you can see the depth of the paints and or the washes, really, in this case, of that. And that is a really pretty rose color. I do like that a lot. Okay, so I'm going to close this up. I'm going to dry this off, and then we're going to add a few little stamps. Okay, and we're going to test it out, how it looks with the stamps. I'll take this one off. And we're going to dry this off really quick. Alrighty, now that that is dry, now if you want to flatten, now this is what happens with thin paper, but the more you do mixed media and paint on it. Now, if you notice, I didn't prep it with gesso first, and that's fine. You don't always have to do that, especially if you're not putting a bunch of stuff on here. See, you can even tell that they went through a little bit, but not a whole bunch, okay? Let me just check to make sure I'm still in frame. Yes, I am. Okay. And so I'm going to put these up over here for now, out of the way, okay? And then we are going to just do a little bit of stamping, not a whole bunch. And I do want some florals, so let's do these. Hobby Lobby was having a huge sale. I showed these $2.24 for those stamps from Memento, guys. Love Memento. Love these stamps. Now, as you guys already know, I use acrylic blocks, but these are not stamping blocks. These are actually acrylic frames that sit in between the wood. You put your flower or your frame or whatever inside the box, and you put the top one or like a candle or something, and they all sit in these beveled edges together. And well, I found pieces to frames, and that's what I use. I actually got them at a yard sale, I think, for $5 for like 10 of them. It was amazing. All right, so the cool thing about doing these washes also is you don't have to color in your stamps, right? So if you're like me, not a big colorer, well, here you go. And you'll have multicolors for your stamps. I apologize if there's any glare from my light down onto this acrylic. Now, I don't press really hard. I just let it sit there a minute and let it grab onto the page, okay? Like so. And now, if you wanted to cut this out, for instance, you would already have your double colors and your fades inside of your stamp, which is also really super cool, right? Alrighty, and then, so now, let me see now, I think I'm going to do a couple of these. Oh my gosh, this is, I'm really loving this rose. This rose is amazing. This rose color on here with that blue. Oh, gorgeous. But I'm not quite done yet, okay? So let's add this one here. And then we're going to add at the top as well. Okay. I always close it now because I was doing that before and I stuck my hand right in it, right here where I touch. Oh my gosh, it was horrible. I had to stop the video, had to go and wash my hands, and then of course I had ink on my hands for like 2 or 3 days. It was crazy. It was so crazy. All right, so there's those two. Guys, I never clean my stamps. I mean, it is what it is. I've never had an issue with them. All right, so there's those. And then let's put these to the side. I will put them back in their packaging after I get done. And let's see. I do want to use my new Flower Girl. Gosh, I love that stamp. That stamp is so amazing. Let me position her where I want her first. All right, so she's going to be going down this way. And I want her to be like that. Oh my gosh, it's going to be gorgeous. Oh, okay, and so, this is what I do. I do position them out. And I think I want to use this one on the bottom because that's going to swirl around it. This one here that I'm using now is the Chamel, the Head in the Clouds. Now this one is an older one. It's from American Crafts, okay? And it is the teacup one that they came out with, and I'm not sure if you can see that with the glare. I'll kind of move it so you can see. It's got the coffee, rise and shine. And it has this cute little floral down on the bottom. I'm going to use my little small one for this, though. Make sure I can position it right. And you can see this one here. It came right off of there, too. This is one of the end pieces of that box. And it's perfect, right? Perfect. And it's even got the little finger holes where you can hold it. All right, so this one here, I'm going to double it up. I'm going to put it here, and then I'm going to flip it and put it on the other side. Let's see how that looks. And if you guys know me, I am all for imperfections. My head might be in the way for a second. I apologize while I line this up. And if you go off the page a little bit, don't worry about it. That looks pretty good. Okay, so let's see how it'll look this way. It's going to go over top unless I turn. Ooh, that might work. Let's see how that lays. And you guys experiment. I mean, you know, if you mess it up or if you know what? If you don't like it later, then you can always get rid of it, right? You can always go over top of it. That's the coolest thing about having these little journals to experiment. Okay, so now I'm going to put her down. Put that out of the way. And I'm going to use the big block. As I said before, I don't clean them off. some cleaners have chemicals in them that can actually ruin your stamps. So I don't clean them, especially with traditional cleaners or baby wipes, because baby wipes are bad juju for your stamps, guys. I used to do it, but I don't do it anymore when I found out about the chemical issue with the clear stamps, especially the clear stamps. The rubber stamps, probably not so much, because it's a different type of material, but these here, yeah. Okay, so let's see. I am going to press it down a little bit. Oh, look at that. That is so pretty. Isn't that so pretty with the blue? Oh gosh, that is gorgeous, you guys. And if you guys are worried about the ink being on your stamp when you're done, just go to the back of your book and stamp it off. Because you can always color over this, you can stamp over it, you can do whatever you want over top of it, and it will take off the excess ink if you're worried about that. Okay, now I am using the VersaFine, and so it does take the ink a little bit, and you can see right there I smudged a little bit of it, but that's all right. That's all right. Alrighty, now that we have her, and this one here is from Illustrated Faith. Oh my gosh, I love their stamps. They're girls. They're worship girls. Oh my gosh, I hope they bring the other ones back, because that, oh my gosh, that whole line was amazing. And I was so upset that I wasn't able to get it when it first came out. But I do want that set. I hope they do a bring back on those girls. Okay, so there's that one. And so now I don't think that I want to do any more flowers, but instead I think I want to do this flying bird right here. And this one here is the Maggie Holmes Flourish stamp set that went with her paper. And I also have her paper packs. I do like Maggie Holmes as well. This one here I'm going to use this. Now this here is a stamping block. It's got the grid on it and all that kind of stuff. I don't ever use the grid. I just like the size of the stamp block. Now I know a lot of people that are card makers, they do line up and do that. Y'all, I'm gonna be honest, I ain't got time for all that. Okay, so I'm going to actually place this one half in the pink and half in the blue, and grab some of that copper in that background with that shimmer in the wings. Okay, so I think I'm going to do it at an angle like this. Oh, that's so pretty. Oh my gosh, that's so good. So good. Now, I know that some people will look and probably not think it's good. That's okay, guys, because you know what? This is all about experimenting. This is all about testing and seeing what works and what doesn't work and stuff like that. And you know what? I am a firm believer in that you, right? If you love what you're doing, it doesn't matter what anybody else says. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. If you like it, that's all that matters. Okay, so that is going to be for that. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to dry this off to make sure the ink is dry for the last step. Okay, for the last step. Okay. Now, I don't think I pulled you out of frame. I'm just kind of looking at it in the light reflection here. Might be a couple of wet spots still left, but that's okay. So the last step that we're going to do is I'm going to take a small paintbrush. Okay. So you can see here, small paintbrush, right? Real thin paintbrush. And then I'm going to take the white. And I'm going to splatter the white. But before I do that, I'm going to take a little square, okay? And I'm going to build this around her face because I don't want it to splatter on her face, okay? Or her glasses, just like that. And so I'm going to cover this up, and this will keep any splash marks from going on her, okay? All right. And you might hear my son again. I apologize. So I'm going to take just one of these pieces of paper to dab off some of the, to where it's not as, I'll start at the top. And I'm just going to dab so it's not like a big blob that comes down, right? And only do it where you want to do it. Don't, you know, don't do it all over the place, but just like little accents of the white gives it a whole different feel. Okay, now you can do this with various colors too. You can do it with a green because we didn't use green. You can do it with red or something like that. If you wanted like some red speckles, you could always do that, right? So that is it, guys. Look at that. That is it. Just something simple, something to test out these washes that I had to see how it would blend in with this rose. I really like this. They have a yellow, like a mustard yellow up there. I may go back and get that because I'm really digging this wash by Folk Art. This really is nice, and oh my gosh, and it actually dulls down some of that glitter in the background as well, which is super, super rad, right? So I hope you guys enjoyed this little short video. I'll pull it up here so you guys can see it up close. Okay, isn't it so pretty? Oh my gosh, I love it so much. It is so pretty. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.